Right guys, today I would like to share with you my top tips for maintaining a calorie deficit. The words calorie deficit get thrown around a lot. It's a basic concept and it is essential for fat loss. Energy in versus energy out. So the amount of food that you consume, anything that you drink or eat is energy coming into your body, and then energy going out is anything from activity, so training. It could be anything that the body has to do in terms of digesting food. All of that energy that you're burning is going out. So in order to keep a calorie deficit or to maintain a calorie deficit, you need to make sure that the energy out is greater than the energy in. So the concept is pretty straightforward, but where most people get stuck and they struggle is with the process and the habits and the patterns that you need to basically, the small patterns that you need to really start to change daily, consistently, that will lead to a big result. So tip number one, guys, is to prioritize sleep. I can't stress enough how important this one is. You can dramatically improve your chances of maintaining calorie deficit and your results if you improve the quality and the quantity of your sleep. Besides from improving your chances of fat loss, improved sleep will also boost your immune system and reduce stress. If you train regularly, then I recommend that you get about 7 to 9 hours sleep. I'm generally good on 7. On poor sleep, you will notice the effects on your body because your hormones will change. Your appetite will increase. You'll be more stressed. You'll crave certain foods. So things that are salty, sugary, oily foods, you'll just crave. And this will lead to an overconsumption of calories for sure. Tip number 2 is to prioritize protein and vegetables. This, again, guys, is another very, very important tip. A diet high in protein and veg can reduce your overall weekly calorie consumption. Protein is your most filling macronutrient. It takes longer to digest, which means the body has to work harder, which means burn more calories to digest compared to your fats and your carbs. Veg is really high in fiber, which is going to aid with your digestion, and it's extremely low calorie. So you can eat as much of it as you want. You're not going to get a lot of calories from it, but what you are going to get is a lot of vitamins and minerals and lots of nutrients. Tip number 3, guys, is to drink more water. Stay hydrated. I mean, I know you probably hear this all the time, but there is a reason why your body needs water. The many different processes that the body has to do throughout the day, including the process of using fat for energy, which is like part of the fat loss process. It will all run more efficiently when the body is fully hydrated. Often as well, the body won't know whether it's dehydrated or hungry, and your appetite might increase when you are dehydrated. So if you just drink water, fill up your belly a bit with some water, it will often suppress your appetite, so you can go for longer without having to eat food. Tip number 4, guys, is to manage your stress. Now, I don't want to go into this too deep. Stress can come in many different forms. It's important to remember that you are in control of your mind and body. How you choose to react to situations, consciously at least, will affect how much stress you are under. Unconsciously, it's hard to say how stress can affect you because obviously this can vary from person to person. But it is your responsibility to manage your stress and seek out and actively practice ways to manage it better. When cortisol levels are high, it's going to be very hard for your body to respond effectively to a calorie deficit and lose weight. And finally, tip number 5 is to set meal times. The body runs like a clock. If your days are structured and you generally have a similar routine most days, then it only makes sense that you should try and structure your meals and give yourself set meal times to eat so that the body can respond properly from food. This helps with adherence to your diet, keeping energy levels more balanced throughout the day. This is going to help you to reduce the amount of food that you pick on, like snacks in between meals and caffeine hits, okay? So those little breaks where you have tea or coffee, it will help to reduce that. Depending on how your days are structured, it might help you to push back breakfast, have it at a later time, and then that way you can have the rest of your meals throughout the day in a smaller window of time. So rather than having 4 or 5 hours between each meal where you might get hungry and snack in between, you can have like 3 to 4 hours, and then it kind of reduces that amount of time in between meals so that you're less likely to snack, which means that you're going to stick to your diet and you're going to be able to maintain a calorie deficit. So that's it, guys. 5 tips for you there. I promise you, if you manage to implement some of these tips, even if it's just 1 or 2, and your goal is fat loss, you're going to get better results. Okay, and if you are still struggling, drop me a DM and we can talk.